Gloria Brooks here with NatureGlow's eScience. So some of you parents know who I am, but some of you don't know my backstory in very much detail yet. So in short, I went from a rambunctious, adventurous, real-life learning kid to a van-dwelling explorer, creating a unit study online math and natural science program for homeschool kids, typically 10 to 18, although younger students that like to work with their older siblings or alongside their parents benefit as well. So I'm a full-time RVing online homeschool teacher living out of my converted Ford camper van in the Eastern Sierra, California with my dog Rochelle. I'm also a coach for the relaxed homeschool spectrum, which includes homeschool styles such as wild schooling, relaxed, eclectic, unit study, Charlotte Mason, unschoolers, to name a few. And there are always new relaxed spectrum homeschool styles sprouting up, and will be serving them as well. And I love writing nature-based children's stories with deep spiritual truths and hiking the Eastern Sierra here in California. Not necessarily doing both at the same time. So I began my unit study style of self-taught education as a young 8-year-old. I know that seems really far-fetched and young, but hear me out. I'll never forget it. I was a precocious kid running the streets of Poughkeepsie, New York, while my mentally ill mother would chase me around the streets on a number of occasions after I cleverly found a way to sneak out of our low-income apartment that we lived in at the time. So one afternoon while in our suburban Fulton Avenue, I still remember the street name that we lived on, in our Poughkeepsie apartment, while my mother was taking a nap, I decided that I was going to sneak out of the house to go to the local Poughkeepsie parade. So she told me that we couldn't go to the parade because she needed her nap. I reckon it had something to do with her being tired and needing a nap from my antics, as she called my high-energy ways. I took matters into my own 6-year-old hands. I showed her. While she was fast asleep enjoying her nap, I quietly opened the kitchen window and slid down the gutter pipe on the side of the house. It was a 10-foot drop from the window to the ground, and I was fortunate to be a strong and nimble 6-year-old. So once safely on the gravel driveway, I ran and hopped onto my bright red short squat 3-wheeler and drove off down the street at high gear for the parade. I don't know, those of you who lived in the 70s, who grew up in the 70s and 80s, remember those little short squat 3-wheel bikes made of plastic? That was me. Yeah, so boy, oh boy, did I love that parade. Candy, crowds, the feet of just the feel of a small city parade. It just felt fantastic to my 6-year-old alive senses. But alas, my fun was soon interrupted as my furious mother came tearing after me to snatch me out of the crowd and bring me back home. What an adventuresome day that was. And I frequently did such things as a kid. Now, please understand, I don't condone children running away from their parents, and most don't. I was just an unusual case, looking for my new mother since the one I had was completely emotionally unavailable. My poor schizophrenic mother had a hard time keeping me safely cooped up, as she called it, in the house. Thankfully, the worst harm that came to me was getting hit by a car while I was crossing the street from the Grand Union, remember Grand Union, grocery store in Poughkeepsie. A man driving a small 70s car hit my right lower calf, and I was sent catapulting towards the sidewalk. I got up and hobbled back home. The driver jumped out of his car to see if I was okay, and I embarrassingly avoided his assistance and made my way back home. It took me a while to tell my mother that one, because I knew that if I told her, she would take away my freedom, but I have a hard time keeping secrets, so I told her. She tried to keep me in the house, but it usually didn't work. Fast forward to my 8-year-old self, to a day in 2nd grade with Mrs. Thompson and the beginning of my unit study self-taught learning adventures. Hurrah! I was not a fan of math class in those early elementary years. All I wanted to do was run the streets of Poughkeepsie and have my own real-life learning adventures. The public school tried to learn me math all right. The same old traditional style you, dear reader, are most likely familiar with. Listener. You, dear listener to this video post today, are most likely familiar with this. Computational math, over and over and over again. One day, my teacher, Mrs. Thompson, passed back to me one of my math work papers, and I stared down at a page covered in red X's. And I had a deer in the headlights syndrome as my eyes went from my math paper to my teacher's searching eyes. I went home that weekend and surprised adult me. It was a bright and sunny Saturday morning. So instead of watching cartoons like I typically did on Saturday morning, I got out all of my art supplies and laid them on the kitchen table. Paper, scissors, tape, crayons. And I set to work cutting out tiny little pieces of paper. I drew tiny pictures of marine life on each of the pages. Whales, jellyfish, zebra. I have it right here. I'm going to show it to you. So whales, jellyfish, zebrafish, mermaid. I even threw in some mythological creatures, a giant sea dragon, like I said, a mermaid. And I colored the pages with my crayons. So here it is. I knew that on that day that I made something epic, so I have preserved it in a bank statement plastic from the 80s. This is from 1981. Still has a scratch and sniff strawberry sticker. And here they are. This is what I made. So I colored in the pictures, and then something happened that I can't believe. And then I wrote in tiny math problems, the same problems that I was failing at doing in second grade. But I also went way beyond and added third and fourth grade level problems. And I wrote in harder, more challenging math problems, such as adding several rows of numbers in the 10,000s place. And I didn't know how to do many of the problems that I wrote out, but I was determined to do math my way, not the traditional classroom way. So here is the first book cover, the zebrafish. And this book, pretty much all of the problems look like this. And I will show you the most colorful book. So here we have this one. There you go. There's the jellyfish. I even wrote in the answers. Some of the answers are correct. It looks like whatever, right? Who cares? How many are correct? So I was determined to do math my way. So my intuitive little girl drive was to combine something I loved learning about, which was marine life, with something that I wasn't doing well and seemingly hated in grade school, math. So I brought the math alive for myself through marine biology. So I still struggle to do math in early elementary school, but my tiny booklets reveal that I knew how to learn in rich ways that combined other subjects. And I know now that I would have reveled as an unschooler. I was intuitively combining marine biology I had learned from thumbing through Jacques Cousteau's hardback books that I read at my grandparents' with math and writing. So on the kitchen table laid my very first unit study at 8 years old. And now here I am several decades later teaching unit study style math and science to homeschool parents and their kids. So I teach an online course called Math Art, and I also have a marine biology course. Go figure. So how did that happen? I mean, how did I, as an 8-year-old girl, know how to start creating a unit study framework without having gone to college to learn it? Just opening the vent here. I mean, I did later go to college to be a teacher from 1992 to 96. It's like it was written in my DNA or something to do this work. So, homeschool parent, I'm here now on the other side of the computer from you. And I have an insatiable love and passion to help homeschool parents and their kids liberate themselves from the compulsory education mindset, the public school mindset, and explore a love and passion for learning through living math, which I call math art, and natural science unit studies combined with child self-directed education, just like I experienced as a little girl. So what are the natural sciences? Think studying the natural world, the plants, the animals. Traditional education doesn't give nearly enough time and attention to studying the natural world. So take a look around you, and it's no big secret that our modern day habits yet pay very little attention to the delicate natural balance we've managed to disrupt on our planet. And I believe that putting most of a child's educational attention, and I do mean most, on studying the natural world will yield far better results harmonizing humanity with the planet again. And this is the mission of NatureGlow's eScience. So this is super important to me, and it's my life mission to inspire homeschool families like you to liberate themselves and their kids from educational drudgery, spending way too many hours doing things you don't want to be doing, and your kids don't want to be doing, and focusing mostly or solely on your child's passions, especially where math meets the natural world. And there are a lot of kids that have a love and a passion and will like to join me in studying the natural world together with me and other kids that they can interact with online through a rich comments area, a rich and interactive comments area. So I invite you on a learning journey fueled by your child's innate love for focusing most of their learning attention on connecting with nature through free play, looking at the stars at night, jumping as high as they can in mud puddles, searching for patterns in nature like a treasure hunt, with you and your kids falling asleep every night exhausted from all these antics. So upon waking, you and your child are fueled to rise up early and repeat these incredible adventures called real-life learning all over again. Welcome to NatureGlow's eScience. Thank you for listening. So what an amazing story. I'm curious, do you resonate with what I've shared with you today? Do you long to release you and your family from educational drudgery? Do you wish that you and your kids could spend long hours outdoors looking for nature's patterns and calling that school for the day? You might be asking, could I possibly do that? Here's how. My answer is yes. Number 1, grab a clipboard with a pencil and a paper. Number 2, look for nature's most common patterns, circular, hexagonal, fractals. Think branching pattern like the veins on the back of your hand. Here you have natural connections with math and art when your child draws the patterns they find like a treasure hunt in nature. Number 3, you have writing when your child writes short descriptions about each pattern. Number 4, you have science when you discover the patterns anywhere in the natural world. So you've covered all the subjects for the day, all the while getting fresh air, sunshine, exercise, and enjoying a family adventure while having a real-life learning experience. Oh, and geography is the location that you're in. So see how simple this can be? So share your thoughts in the comments with this post. Does this resonate with you or not? And I'd love to hear from you. So just let me know your thoughts. What I just shared with you today is important because my guess is that you too wish to be liberated from the drudgery that mainstream education puts your family through. You want to experience much more fun in learning with your child. You can do it. And I have the tools and years of experience to take your hand and show you. So come join me on my learning adventures designed to inspire you and your kids to be lifelong lovers and learners of the natural world and beyond. So you can join me inside right now by clicking the link with this post to my Math Learning Secrets e-guide. It's a 40-page quick read guide helping you get up and running with my 5 pillars Math Learning Secrets, helping to liberate you from math drudgery through fun and real-life connections. Also, for a limited time right now, down at the bottom of the page that you click on, you'll get an invite into my Geometric Beauty of Snowflakes online course. I will be bringing that down soon. Spring is around the corner, okay? And most people aren't going to be wanting to be studying snowflakes in the spring. So get that add-on too while it's yet available. And I'd love to see you on the inside of Math Learning Secrets today. Thanks for watching. Click that link and throw down a comment. Also, give me a like, subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching me on YouTube.